What is up, guys? Welcome back to It Was Written Moviecast, where me and my bro sit down on this table and talk about the movie we just watched. We're gonna talk about Captain America: Civil War.
Yes, sir. Let's go ahead and do a review, our overall opinion of the movie with avoiding spoiler territory, and then we'll jump right into the spoilers right afterwards. So,
What do you think, bro?
What do you think, man?
Me, I think overall, it was a good movie. Overall, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. My bro's just doing daps in the background. I never read the comic books, and I don't think most of the people who are gonna watch this movie have read the comic books either. But overall, the movie was good. It was well paced compared to the other movie.
Yep.
Batman vs Superman. Every movie has its problems. I felt like the characters all did a good job.
That's the thing with the directors, the Russo brothers. They did so well with the last movie, Winter Soldier. And they did this. They did great with this movie. Now they're going to be doing Avengers 3 and 4. And they paced it so well to a point where everyone gets their own screen time. They have their own moment to shine and so on and so forth. While still maintaining the fact that it's still Captain America movie. It's still his movie. But the way they were able to incorporate all the other characters, have their own little plot, their own little subplots to go in the film was just pretty good, especially with Black Panther. I thought it was just going to be cameo throughout the entire movie. Like he was going to show up once and then that's it. But they made his motivation clear that why he wanted to fight Bucky and why he sided with Tony rather than anything else. Even with another character, which you guys haven't seen in the trailer, Spider-Man was good, was great in the film too. But the thing with the movie, they got to a point where you were conflicted on which side to choose. So I can't even talk straight.
Because both sides have like a compelling reason why they were doing it, and you could tell both sides had good reasons and you could see the wrong reasons. It was you couldn't choose between them because they were both wrong and they were both right at the same time.
Yeah. And that's a good filmmaking right there, because it wasn't as one-sided like Batman versus Superman. I was just like, man, Batman, fuck this nigga up, Superman. Yeah. I'm tired of his shit. Yeah, he's Superman stopping you out of nowhere.
For no goddamn reason. Except I just don't like this guy. He's a vigilante and he does whatever the fuck he wants. I don't like you. That's it. That was the only motivation why it was happening. But besides that, like you said, every character felt like they had their own time. Black Panther, even for the short time of his dialogue, you could see his motivations and also tidbits about his bringing that when he was in I guess it was a truck where he was stuck with Wilson and Steve.
Yeah.
And he was saying, oh yeah, this is a race of warriors that's been in my country for years and years and years. I'm just the next one. So it gives you kind of background of what the Black Panther is and what you can expect.
Yeah, they didn't make it overly complicated. No. They just made it subtle, and that's what people really need. They don't need an overly complicated plot line for it. And the movie's great. It's paced well. Some people are going to be drawn away from it because it's a lot of dialogue, a lot of politics and stuff. But they get the shit right, though. Everything was engaging to the point where, I was invested throughout the entire movie. And it wasn't as dull as Batman versus Superman. I know some of it can be a little dull in the DC movie. But they had established these characters before in previous movies, so that's why it was more better for us to get invested into it as well. And I forgot what I was going to say. You can go ahead with
Yeah, I felt every character has his piece. I enjoyed Spider-Man. I enjoyed the casting of Spider-Man. He's just a kid with these powers, and he was silly. He was just. I felt like that's the Spider-Man that we've been missing out for a long time. Yeah. And they tried to do it with the Andrew Garfield, but at the same time, it just wasn't right.
No, it wasn't right with Garfield. Yeah. They made him unlikable. Well, not unlikable, but it just tarnishes his character as, Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Because you know, with the whole Gwen Stacy thing.
It was too much romance.
It was too much romance. I mean, I was fine with that. It was just like they tarnished Peter Parker's character, what he stands for. Like with the ending of the first Spider-Man movie, Andrew Garfield's her dad's like, stay away from my daughter. I don't want her getting dragged into this. In the end of the movie, he just whispers behind her. He's like, I'm not going to listen to him. I'm like, you're a douchebag. That was his last fucking dying wish. And then you're going to go against it.
That's why she died.
And that's why she died in the second film. Like, you just tarnish his character. Like, you know, he's a kid. He's a respectable kid and all his other shit. So, I don't know. It was just, but I mean, I like the quirkiness he added, you know.
Yeah, because most of the people were expecting like the Spider-Man from the previous Spider-Man, which there was no like.
Yeah, Sam Raimi's take is unique because it's like him as a man, and the moral dilemma that he faces as growing up as a superhero, which is more of a grounded take of Spider-Man than anything. Yeah, it's just more relatable, and it's just like, what would you do if you were with these powers and you have relationships to take care of, your professional career is down to shit, your best friend fucking hates you, and all this other stuff like that. So it was just the moral dilemma of that Spider-Man, which makes that trilogy special.
And I think for the time that movie, those trilogy came out, was before like the craze of comic book movies and stuff like that. So people needed something to like relate to more.
Mm-hmm. And it's still one of the highest grossing movies of all time. The Spider-Man 2 and 3. But without a doubt, Civil War is hands down one of the best. Has one of the best, not if the best, fighting scene ever. Yeah. And the airport scene is one of the best comic books like fight scenes ever. I thought it was gonna be like a 5-minute fight with shaky cam and all this other shit, but the thing lasted like a good 20 minutes, and everyone had their moment to shine, and everyone kicked ass and all this other stuff. But overall, it's a great film. I recommend go seeing it, especially if you're a comic book fan or if a Marvel fan at that. You're going to get what you paid for. You're going to see Iron Man and Captain fighting, duking it out. Without devolving into spoilers, it's more layered than you think it is. It's a lot of deep and heavy shit to deal with in the movie, especially with the collateral damage that they've done in the past 3 movies, like the scene. This isn't really spoiler territory where the Ross shows them the footage of their past battles in New York. We were hype as shit in the movies when we saw the Hulk jumping on the building and like throwing aliens and shit. And then like we saw the repercussions of that, all the debris that fell on top of the dude and it fucking killed him. I was like, oh shit, that's crazy.
And some people think about it, but at the same time, you're like, it's just a movie.
Because we mentioned it before in Batman vs Superman review. They're like, Marvel hasn't taken any, the repercussions of it,
of all their actions and what happens, and
this movie finally addresses it, takes it from the civilian side, and you see like, yo, they fucking killed a lot of people.
Yeah, like, what would you think if like, if you see like monsters and superheroes duking it out at the same time? Yeah, like you think they're superheroes, but maybe in the perspective of you, while you're a civilian at that moment, you think, boy,
they brought them here. It's their fault.
Yeah, they're destroying things, and you're just trying to survive. So anything is an enemy. I think we could go to spoiler territory. You can give me the bottle. Hard soda.
Now getting the spoiler territory.
Want another one now?
Yeah, sure. I'll take another one.
I'm starting to spoil it a little bit. For everybody who don't want to hear spoilers, you could end the video now.
Yeah, watch the movie. Come back to our spoiler territory. There's so much shit to cover, setting up for future movies, and there's a big twist at the end that no one really saw coming. Especially if comic book fans too. Like if you're going expecting it's going to be like the comic, it's not.
It's not at all.
Not even the slightest. It's inspired. Some, they have some Easter eggs that are like inspired from the comic or straight from like a panel of the comic. Like when Tony and Captain are fighting, he has like, he's holding a shield like this, and then like has a beam, and then he's like deflecting it. It's like that slow mo shot. That was like straight from the comic.
That was probably.
Everyone was clapping when they saw that still. Like when I saw it the first time on Friday, everyone was like clapping when they saw a still image, because you can, if you just look up Civil War,
the comic panel, and that was a good job from the people who did the editing and all the people who took the shots.
Yep. But diving into spoiler territory, I don't know what you talk about first.
Let's talk about.
Let's talk about Spider-Man first.
All right.
The way they introduced him was quick, painless, and it got the job done.
Because again, this is a Captain America movie. They didn't force any other people. Like they gave everybody their shine, but at the same time, it's Captain America, and they gave him the most.
Yep. They emphasize that it's his movie, it's him and Bucky's story, and so on and so forth. But the way they incorporated everyone's screen time was really great. But the way they incorporated Spider-Man, it was genius. He was only Spider-Man for 6 months. He just started off being Spider-Man. Tony, with all his resources, of course, he's gonna find out, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess he knew for a while or something. I really don't know. But I guess they'll elaborate that more on Spider-Man Homecoming coming out next summer, I guess.
Which I'm excited for.
Huh?
I'm excited for it.
Hell yeah. And which Robert Downey is going to reprise his role as Iron Man again in it. Hopefully he'll get the Iron Spider suit in that movie, which will be dope. But basically Spider-Man was just a kid, started becoming Spider-Man for 6 months. He has like this ragtag suit, just sweats, red and blue, with little goggles on and shit like that. And just Tony just found him and just recruited him. And kind of blackmails him in a sense of like, I'll tell your aunt for Spider-Man if you don't help me.
Yeah.
And then all his other shit. So, but in the end, he got a new suit and better web blasters and all his other shit. So
better suit, better everything. Let's talk about Aunt May.
Aunt May. Oh man, she's bad as fuck. Aunt May, after each rendition of Spider-Man, she gets finer and finer. I'm not saying the first one she was fine or anything. That'd be creepy as fuck. But
She was an old lady.
She was an old lady, and then Andrew Garfield, she's like, "Okay, Aunt May, I see you." And then in this one, she's like, "God damn, Aunt May,
what you
like,
doing?
like what the fuck did Uncle Ben look like? Was his Uncle Ben John Cena or some shit?" I was like, "God damn, bro." I don't know, man, but she was fine as hell.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but what he was talking about, like,
the bad stuff happens to you when the good stuff.
He was talking, like, I got the impression that he was talking about, like his
Uncle Ben.
dad.
Yeah. Basically, they said with great power comes great responsibility without saying that quote, because that quote has been said many, many times before. And no one wants to see Uncle Ben die a third time. We already know his origin story, like with Batman.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to see his parents get shot up every fucking rendition that he has, because we already know how it happens. And I like this better because I guess Iron Man's gonna fill as a father figure for Peter in the long run, which is gonna be cool. And Cap too. Cap like hinted that he has heart, and they're both from New York and stuff. So like in the comics, Cap does train Spider-Man and stuff like that. So we'll probably see that in the future, hopefully sometime soon. And yeah, that's the deal with Spider-Man. He killed it. Tom Holland killed it as Spider-Man. Skeptics out there can shut the hell up, because he is pretty much the best Spider-Man ever to hit on screen in the movies. He killed it. He had the right quirkiness to it. He had the right amount of dialogue.
He portrayed. He's a kid. He portrayed it perfectly.
Portrayed it perfectly.
Every other Spider-Man, they're like past their 20s, like
Yeah.
they're like in their mid to late 20s, playing a high schooler who's not really in high school.
Mm-hmm.
This kid is legit. He's a kid playing Spider-Man. That's what Spider-Man was. He's been a kid.
That's what makes Spider-Man so relatable as a character, because he's a kid. We go through all that adolescent shit. That's what makes him the most popular Marvel character, I think, because he's easily the most relatable. Like, we've gone through the most shit that he's gone through as a kid, minus the powers or whatever. Everyone's like a billionaire, frozen in ice, got fucking mutated by radiation, or is a god. He's remotely the most relatable character, and that's what makes him so popular till this day.
And like he's really relatable as a person right now. Instead of like Captain America, he got his powers, but he's based off a character back in the day. While this is just a kid in New York, and you could probably say right now, living right now.
Yeah.
So I think I enjoyed him since watching the animated series. So
yeah. And I want to get into that twist at the end of the movie. The twist at the end of the movie is caught me off guard, because they changed the whole perception of Tony's parents being killed and stuff like that. Before I get into that,
I know that part was important because they kept like repeating the part where that car swerved off the road when Winter Soldier tried to get the super soldier serum or whatever.
Yeah, but what they did I didn't think of it the first time. Well, I didn't really think much of it the first time. I was like, okay, those blue fucking
Like the serum.
the serum is like super soldier serums and shit like that, and that's what he needed to get.
Yeah.
But like when I saw it, I was like, at the end of the movie, I'm like, damn, they're gonna be fighting super soldiers like that we don't know about, we're not really invested in. And then once they got there, because I'm expecting them, okay, they're gonna fight super soldiers.
Yeah, me too. I was
I was kind of disappointed, but I'm like, okay, I guess we're gonna get a cool fight scene. But at the end, when you saw all those super soldiers dead, shot in the face, and then when Baron Zemo showed Tony the clip of Bucky killing his parents, that shit like tugged on your heartstrings because you didn't want no one to win that fight because like they're both. Tony had every right to do that shit, to fucking beat up Cap and Bucky and shit like that. Because if I was working with someone who just killed my mom in front of me, and I just saw what the fuck they did, I'm gonna go fucking ape shit too. Yeah, he had every right to do that. But Cap's protecting his friend, and he was trying to protect Tony from the truth. And when they were just going at it, I was like, man, I don't want no one to win. I don't want no one to get hurt or die because it's like you invested so much in these characters. It's just the icing on the cake it's just a good finale of a movie overall, because like that makes it way more suspenseful than like
them fighting
random super soldiers.
I swore they were gonna do that, and that's where I was kind of getting upset that's where we were gonna lead to. Where you just see like a short clip of these super soldiers getting like the serum put into them and like them fighting that they're really badass, and you don't really care though. And I wasn't expecting it, and then I see they're still in the tube when they walk in, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then you see them, they got shot.
Yeah,
and his whole plan was just to destroy
the Avengers from the inside. Baron Zemo's. This is where they finally got it. Marvel finally has a good villain now, other than Loki, and he has every right to do this shit to them, destroy the Avengers from the inside. They killed his wife and his son, and he was a more fleshed out, more complicated villain than your average, like a Thor villain or Red Skull, or just for the people's sake of being evil and shit, just destroying shit whenever they can. He had the right motivation, and he was a disturbed character. He was willing to do this shit from the inside out.
The most. He was willing to do the most. And I would give a clap to the people that they really like made this character. He's just a human who like really thought about this plan, this convoluted, this very intricate plan to destroy the Avengers. And I give amends to these creators who made this character happen in this movie.
Yeah, he was a well fleshed out villain. And plus, they didn't do the fucking cliche thing where they kill their villain off and then they just get ready for the next one. He's alive. He's kept in the cell somewhere. They're probably going to utilize him again in a future movie, which hopefully somehow, because I don't like when they kill their villains off because it's just a waste of potential. Because you can work with the character, you can alter their perception and all this other stuff. And
let's talk about Crossbones.
Crossbones, man.
First 10
minutes, and nigga dies, bro.
And this man was in the comics. He's a real like pivotal.
If you're a comic book fan and you see Crossbones, you're like, oh shit, hell yeah, I'm into this shit right now. Let's do it.
10 minutes.
First 10 minutes, they kill his ass off, man. And I was just very like my first screening, the first time I watched it, I just screamed, what the fuck? And my friends next to me, they're like, you okay? I'm like, no, I'm not okay. Like
this character is so important in the comics. This character kills off Captain America in the comics. And how are you gonna just like kill him off? Like you don't have to make this character kill Captain America.
Just keep him around.
Just keep him around, because then you're just like killing off enemy after enemy after enemy, and it's like
they should have worked with him more. Like they should have shown. I don't know, man. Like they killed him off because he wasn't that much of a big character in Winter Soldier. But like he's gonna be Crossbones. He survived the building on top of him. You see him getting dragged out, and he's alive. I'm like, okay, he's gonna be Crossbones in the next movie. And you see him in his mech suit, kicking ass or whatever.
And he was Crossbones.
He was Crossbones for 10 minutes, and they fucking killed that nigga off. But what they should have done was, you know, he was a SHIELD agent, but he worked for Hydra. They should have shown like a flashback of like his motivations of why he switched from Hydra.
You have no idea what that character has.
There's so much to work with, bro. He probably had something at stake or something. He was probably I don't know. Like they could have done something really good with the character. That way, which I highly doubt, if they would have done the storyline in the comic, it would have been more compelling than just killing him off in the first 10 minutes of the movie. He's just basically collateral damage. He was just basically a bomb.
Yeah, that character was like basically just to start the movie.
Pretty much.
Let's just start the movie with this guy and kill him off.
Yeah, because like you see newspapers like, oh, Crossbones is just like wreaking havoc. Why? Why is he doing this?
Oh yeah, that's why they're trying to find this person.
And what was that serum that like
nobody
knows what that serum
knows.
was? Like
that
serum was never utilized in the movie at all. It was just something for them to
it was just hazardous material for no reason.
Yeah, and like I thought he was working on Baron Zemo, which he wasn't. And it was just
no correlation.
I mean, it was just to start off the movie, which I understand, because I felt like if they would have fleshed him out more, it's understandable. If they would have fleshed him out more, the movie would have been way longer than what it should have been. And I felt like the movie would have progressively got worse if they would have fleshed him out more. But they just should have saved, like, keep him alive. He should have
escaped.
Strapped the bomb onto a civilian and then see a civilian die. And escape. And then they had that traumatic thing where they couldn't save that person strapped to a bomb.
And nobody talked about him ever again in the movie. Like, oh yeah.
What really bothered me was how Scarlet Witch never talked about her brother Quicksilver. Like they failed to mention him.
Yeah,
like, oh, I miss him. Like she's depressed.
Nothing.
All this other shit.
She was okay.
Him dying was like her main motivation of becoming Avenger, which is why her and Hawkeye have that cool relationship with each other. Which he mentioned. He's like, I owe her my life. Because her brother, killed himself to save me and that kid that he tried to save in the last movie. And they just failed to mention that, which was a missed opportunity to make the movie.
She was really upset in that movie.
Yeah.
It was Ultron, the Age of Ultron.
Yeah. It was just a failed opportunity to flesh out her character a little bit more. And Hawkeye's character.
I have no idea what Wanda is all about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, they got her in a Vision relationship, right? Because they end up together. They're a couple in the comics and shit.
Yo, what she did to the Vision though was a little bit overboard. She just knocked him
I
down.
don't think she knows her own strength, man. She just freaking like leveled the fuck out that nigga. Like,
I was like, damn.
But Vision's gonna be fucked either way.
I was a little sad. I thought Rhodey was gonna die. I thought Rhodey was dead. I saw him. I was like, no, he's dead. Like, I'm like, damn.
He's gonna get fucked up. Yeah, I thought he was gonna die. Well, I think they played it too safe, man.
They played it a little bit too safe.
Because you can see the similarities between Batman versus Superman, which I see why they didn't do it. I can see them doing a reshoot because they filmed multiple funeral scenes.
In the Civil War.
In Civil War, they filmed, like there was in the news, they filmed multiple funeral scenes just to stray people off. But, Batman v Superman came out first a few weeks before it, and they saw that Superman died at the end. And I guess they didn't want to be like, another hero dies at the end of the movie. And it doesn't want to be too similar to Batman v Superman, where Superman allegedly dies, and he's going to come back eventually. And same thing with, Captain America. If he dies, he's going to come back eventually because it's comic books. Anything can fucking happen. They have the Infinity Stones and shit. They can bring it back with a stone or some other bullshit like that. And I guess they didn't want to end up being too similar to it. It's essentially the same shit.
Make the the soil like burst up a little bit, and you think it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I can see why. So I guess they try to alter it, be different, and like basically no one won at the end of the movie. It's just it's a tragic ending for for the characters that you love and shit, and everyone just leaves damaged at the end of the movie.
But at the same time, there was like they had like hope that
there's like a 5% chance of hope, glimmer of hope that they have,
and that's all they need.
Yep. Because we already know they're all gonna get back together to fight Thanos in Part 3.
Which we know is going to happen.
Yeah. See, I like this better than the second Avengers movie.
I didn't like the second Avengers movie.
I ain't really.
I didn't really like Ultron that much.
Yeah.
Like it was alright, but it was just fuck.
I don't know. He was I mean, you don't know if he was menacing or just fucking around and stuff. And they just dragged that movie out for too long, and you barely see Ultron on screen and shit as it is. So, I mean, the Russo brothers knows what they're doing, and they're gonna expand on Thanos and Guardians of the Galaxy and shit like that. So, which is gonna be dope. But yeah, overall the movie's great. I love the hell out of this movie. I would say it's one of the top movies I've seen this year. This and Deadpool and Star Wars.
Well, Star Wars was last year.
Well, technically last year, but came out so late.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I enjoyed the fucking hell out of this film. You'll enjoy it. Your kids will enjoy it.
Yeah.
There's like a deep, heavy themes in it that explored way better compared to Batman versus Superman.
Which was rushed too much, and whoever edited that shit was like...
Yeah. Because you see Tony's despair and, his breaking point and shit.
That scene when I first watched it where he was like waiting for the elevator, where that black lady was just there, and she lets loose on him, telling him that you're the reason why my son is dead. And like that shit, like really resonated.
Yeah, because he was like, oh, I gave him money because it like... makes my helps my conscience, and then she laid that shit on top of him. And I'm like, oh shit! But she got casted in the Luke Cage show on Netflix.
Oh,
so she's gonna play another important role.
For real.
And probably just like implying how Civil War ties in with Luke Cage and Jessica Jones and Daredevil and shit like that.
That's what's up.
So I mean, it's gonna be dope. I just read it like last night that she got casted to play the same character from Civil War. So. Part of Luke Cage's family or a friend of Luke Cage.
Somehow there's a correlation, and that makes Luke Cage have like, it ties into a movie, and also probably has like connects motivations why he does what he does.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking like that's what DC is trying to do now, trying to make this universe that is so plentiful and like so interconnected, what Marvel has, but it's been doing it for years, and that's what DC desperately wants to do. But
they're trying to catch up, which is their downfall because they're not giving their heroes enough time to develop.
Yeah,
and they're just busy just setting up for the next movie. Like this movie wasn't worried about setting for the next film. Like they did not talk about Thanos. Nick Fury did not appear out of nowhere. It was just fine the way it is. Like you're worried about these characters. You don't want to see them come up on top of each other.
Yeah.
And only thing it mainly sets out is for Black Panther, his movie, because he's a new character.
Yeah.
Black Panther and Spider-Man, and that's about it. That's all they set up for. They didn't set up for Avengers 3 where, like, they fight each other and, like, something's bigger is at stake, and then you see Thanos, like, at the end credit scene or something like that,
Yeah, I think this movie, it kind of expands everybody's story, and it gives more depth to the characters that are there, without really like having to push too much for the next movie. No. And this movie is good all on its own. Like like you could watch it as a standalone movie and enjoy it, or if you want to watch it as a collective, it'll work too. So I think they got that down packed. What DC is
failing to capture.
They just want to like somehow put all these characters together without really showing.
I'm just praying Suicide Squad is good.
Praying Suicide, which I think it is, because I don't think they really are focusing too much about that as like a whole universe. But I think it's gonna be good, and
because no one knows the plot of that movie.
Marvel's doing it right. They're expanding their characters right. They're not really pushing too much to like make this universe happen, because they've already had enough time to like for each character to have their time. So DC's just playing catch up, and they're really rushing everything, trying to make this universe that Marvel has been really just crafting for multiple years already.
The Aquaman director dropped out. I think it was Aquaman or Flash. I really don't remember. One of the directors of the DC movies is like, fuck it, I'm done. Like, I guess they're...
DC's probably pushing too much.
Yeah, either Warner Brothers, DC is just like, you need to catch up to Marvel. I guess just too much pressure, and then they don't want to be just, they don't want to involve themselves in like shitty movies that fucks with their careers and shit like that.
Yeah, for real. And like these movies could have a really big stigma in people's careers.
Because these characters are so close to the audience's hearts, and they don't want to disappoint these people and shit like that. Like, I'm gonna get a little off topic here. Like, Dragon Ball Evolution, that movie came out like 8 years ago. I'm assuming 8 years ago, and the writer finally apologized now, saying that he's sorry.
He's sorry for fucking up this movie.
He's sorry. He just did it for the check. All his other stuff. He wrote like this long ass apology that you can find on the internet and stuff to the fans. And he's like, hopefully I can work on something that in the future that'll impress you guys. But now we have the Death Note movie coming out. Now we have the Naruto movie coming out. And it's just like, fuck, what the fuck is this guy going to work on?
Yeah, well, he's going to fuck up everything.
He's going to fuck up everything. But I think Naruto is just a harder... I'm worried about the Death Note movie. I really don't want... It's such a movie you can do with, like, doesn't matter what your race is or anything like that. You can do an Americanized version of it if you want.
Yeah, it's kind of just like a story. It's like probably like...
It's just a crime thriller, supernatural crime thriller.
Yeah, which I enjoyed, and I think you could play with any character in any race.
And Naruto is just a hard thing to translate over live action film.
Look at your slides, dog. They look like Oreos, bro.
Those are fresh.
All right, so...
Yo, you can wear them because I couldn't find any size.
It's smaller?
So, it's a 10.
I'm
All
feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it right now.
I
think we should just end it off from there.
Yeah.
Overall, great film.
Yeah, overall.
You're going to get your ass kicking out of the way. You're going to get your fight scenes. You're going to get the emotional, downfall of these characters. Overall, great. I would say it's one of the better Marvel films. We should come up with like a top 10 Marvel films. Because it's up there with Guardians and Winter Soldier. And nothing's going to beat the first Avengers where you see those characters come on the screen for the very first time. Nothing's ever going to top that feeling unless they kill it in the third and fourth Avengers. But yeah, I'll say it's really, really up there with those movies, and you're going to have a great time nonetheless. Is it better to watch it a second time to get like Baron Zemo's like, what the fuck is he doing throughout the movie? I'm like, why is he obsessed with 1991? Why is he like, when you watch it the second time, he's just like, okay, like he's pinpointing, like trying to plan this shit out the second time better.
Yeah.
And I finally, it's enjoyable the second time.
It is, and that's all you could ask for a movie. Because there's movies you can only watch one time and just say fuck it, it's not even worth it. But you could really get to enjoy the movie a second time and see everything you missed the first time. And yeah, I think it's a good movie. I would give it an 8.5 because I'm a little harder critic, but 8.5 out of 10, and
yeah,
you'll enjoy it. Definitely worth the purchase for a ticket to buy it. Yeah,
buy it on Blu-ray. Probably get some deleted scenes and cut content that they want to put in the movie.
Probably see those funeral scenes.
Yeah, for real.
That they cut down. I think Rhodey died. And yeah, I think that's it.
Yep, that's about it.
Peace out, and we'll see you in the next video. Your boy JP.